and today we're going to be reading a top 10 of the scariest cutscenes in horror games. Who really likes cutscenes? They take you away from the action and are typically dull. However, today it's a talk about some cutscenes that could rattle you. These are the ones that do their job so effectively that you feel fear as the game puts you back in the driver's seat after the scene. These are the moments that'll change the course of the game and set tones for the next level. Today it's time to talk about the scariest cutscenes in horror games. Check the cutscenes in horror games. Number 10, Alien Isolation, the first encounter with the Xenomorph. One of the scariest things about Alien Isolation is that it doesn't start with the Xenomorph. As Amanda Ripley, you travel through the spacecraft yourself for a while to find clues about your mother's disappearance. You know the creature is going to show up, you just don't know when. However, as you move through the game's initial parts, you eventually stumble upon this monster. You are in what looks like a navigation room and are under a desk when the alien finally comes through the ceiling. It's scary, and it really sets the tone for the rest of the game. Number 9, Outlast, when you first arrive. Now, there are a ton of terrifying things about Outlast, but the one that is the most striking is when you first pull up to the hospital. At this point, you don't know anything about what you're going to face. The hospital is dark, there is no one outside, and you start to become aware that you have no idea about the horror that awaits. All you have is your camera for vision, and it sets the mood for what is about to happen. Number 8, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Mr. X's Arrival. You may think this one is talking about Mr. X and Leon's first face-off in the mansion hall. However, this entry is instead discussing the very first time he makes his presence known. Leon walks into a jail cell only to see an inmate dragged across a big wall by a large hand. Mr. X shows his powers here. Not only does it alert you to the fact that you will have to face this guy soon, but that he is haunting you and he is the only wall away. No wonder people want to feature this guy in so much fan art. Number 7, Silent Hill 2, Pyramid Head. James Sunderland is having a bad day. He loses his wife by suspicious circumstances and is now in this monstrous world where he has to find a way out of. This awful-looking creature can be seen violating the nurses in the game. It's so disturbing. The game makes you feel like you've just walked into a horrible moment you shouldn't be privy on. It's scary and downright unsettling, which is a fitting introduction to an awful villain. Number 6, Dead Space, the first arrival of the Necromorph. Arriving upon an abandoned ship is scary enough, but imagine having to do this with terrifying monsters walking around. One of the first cutscenes in the game is the protagonist having to watch helplessly behind a glass window while a vicious Necromorph kills the crew's last members. This cutscene leads you to bolting down a hallway to make it to an elevator. The tension of this game is off the charts. Number 5, Resident Evil 7, The Family Dinner. From the moment you step onto the Baker's property, you are met with a terrifying obstacle after obstacle. You are trying to find your missing girlfriend, Mia, while avoiding the scary members of the Baker family. While eventually they get the better of you, you are in front and center of the family's dysfunction. While sitting at the dinner table, you see your family devour disgusting and rancid food. It's horrifying to be at the mercy as the player and wonder if you will be on the dinner table later on. Number 4, Resident Evil, The First Zombie. Here it is, one of the most iconic scenes in the survival horror game. For the first time in Capcom's Powerhouse series, you will see the monster that will be haunting you throughout the franchise. It's first in the many creatures that will haunt you down. You walk in on a zombie slowly lifting their head after devouring someone. Even though the graphics, even for the remastered edition, are not as advanced as by today's standards, the scene is still striking. Regardless of when you first encounter this, it's likely to make the chills run up and down your spine. Number 3, PT, What's in the Sink? Where can you even start with this one? You're in a loop trying to escape the clutches of a ghost who seems to be out for revenge. Various clues and details around the house lead you to believe that the previous owner murdered his own family. Can it get any worse? Yes it can. Head into the bathroom to witness one of the most disturbing scenes in the video game. A cutscene occurs when you see what seems to be the remain of a fetus crying. What if it's a connection to the ghost? Well, that's for you to find out, if you can even hold the controller afterward. Number 2, Fear, the Ladder. This one is a blend of cutscene and a really quick moment in the game. However, it is really unsettling and worth the mention. Fear could be seen as a cliche J-horror inspired game with a creepy long-haired girl haunting you, but this moment is solidified it as a survival horror game that deserves the props. As you're moving through the area as a point man, you climb down a ladder and discover that Alma, the game's main antagonist, is looking right at you. It happens so fast that you may even fail to notice it, but there she is, stalking you. Very creepy. And coming in at number 1 is The Evil Within 2, Stefano Valentini. Valentini. Making sure I read that right. The Evil Within 2 really upped the ante when it came to the franchise. It opened up the world of the game, and this included the villains. One of the scariest guys to face is Stefano Valentini. He has an obsession with capturing moments on camera. He murders people and takes a picture of the act, stealing this person to repeat the moment over and over again. It is gruesome and oddly creative at the same time. Adding the tension is to the fact that this guy is only a few feet from you, and when you see him commit the deed. And that is your top 10 scariest cutscenes of horror games. I hope you all enjoyed. If you're new to my channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button, give a thumbs up, and leave a comment down below what your creepy cutscene of your favorite horror game is. I would say for mine is definitely most of the Outlast scenes, because Jesus Christ, those are definitely a lot freaky. I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's could be on there too, but I guess they're not really cutscenes, but there's definitely a lot of horror games out there that do fit the profile of a lot of my favorite ones. But tell me what your scariest horror game cutscenes are down below. I love you guys.